I like the chase. Keep it coming, right? God. Any advice? For Virgo, don't get caught up into things that have nothing to do with you for some
Any advice? Fucking no. There it is. Right? I air it all. Anything you want to know? Ask. There ain't nothing here. As far as skeletons goes, that's interesting. It's just regular. It's just regular. Who feels it knows it, you know? There's no spectrum of trauma. I wish my FDH capture would work better. Sorry about that. That's what we got. So, welcome everyone. If you've listened to the content here, right? Listen from the beginning, but start with the podcast. You get the whole journey, and I swear to God, you know, aren't we all starved for content? I mean, hours and hours of something that is perhaps hard to follow, but also you've never heard it said before. Like, obviously there's overlap, but overlap from known, on the known, right? Because these concepts that I speak about, they have their, like, there's a congruency with ancient knowledge, right? With Hermetic principles, right? Ancient Hindu, Buddhism, Zen Buddhism. But there's a particular problem, right? Let's get in position. There's a particular problem. So let's stand and I'll get into it. So if you watch everything from the beginning, you get the instruction on how to stand, but it's horse stance with your feet at shoulder width. And so you turn your hips under without flexing your glutes. And so you do that just by allowing your spine to straighten in the lumbar. We're doing 3 breaths per, so a total of 18. 3 positions, 2 sets of 3 breaths each. So you push your upper spine towards the front, your lower spine towards the back, and you just do that by allowing it to straighten. The idea is to straighten your spine, right? To get maximum energy flow. So you drop your shoulders, straighten your spine, drop your chin in order to align your neck. Eyes on the horizon. Okay. Final position. So hold that position. Right. You guys, it really helps. It tricks you into a meditative state, right? You can't intend to meditate. That defeats meditation, right? It has to occur. So, my shoulder. I'm just trying to reiterate this effect where you breathe in through the stomach and expand out, right? Breathe in from here, right? And expand your ribs outward. And don't put your focus on your upper lungs, like how we're always trying to fill our upper lungs before we even expel our lower lungs, So it's a full out breath. But your out breath, this is the essential thing to this whole thing. You guys, you can get access, right? It permits you, right? There's the silence that you hear, right? Lets you hear, lets you perceive, right? It permits an openness, right? There's this space of vastness, right? That you can find doing Qigong. And it builds the bridge, right? It builds the bridge to the unseen. The bridge, right? It's how we are connected to all. Right? And this is what I always talk about. But what is the particular problem that we have? What is the problem? One problem, one solution. Right? You don't point out all of the complexities, right? The worlds within worlds of complexity that has each layer, right? Each order of magnitude, right, has its own set of problems. Right? But as I've always said through this whole thing, right, there's an aggregate pattern that occurs, right, with the combined behavior of the entire population. Right? Aggregate pattern, right? That's statistics, right? And I've always hated, right? The idea, like we have a Western society, a capitalist society, but always growing up, it was there's a couple of ways you can say it. but it was like everyone gets the same thing, you know, at school. Otherwise, you know, there would be an unfounded hierarchy, right? A strata, right? No one's special, right? If I did that for you, I'd have to do it for the whole student body, you know? So there's like this, you know, this presented ideal learner, ideal student, and ideal citizen, right? That these are the boxes that you check, you know. And so this is the type of thing that happens in our formative years, right? And so before we even get to the point where we are able to, you know, it's like a lot of us teenagers and college students had an experience that opened our eyes, and you know, this experience that I've spoken of before, where you can like get outside of yourself, right, and recognize, right, the weirdness of being alive. You know, like, wow, this is crazy. You know, the strangeness of recognizing that your body is just a vehicle, you know. But so, yeah, where I began, the problem, right? The problem is that on aggregate, the aggregate statistical behavior the statistical, you know, the statistical mean, right, of behavior, right, determines the overall pattern, right? And what I've always said is that there's this root to the behavior, right? There is a belief, right, that is held by all people, right? Not every single one of us, but all is required is enough, right, for it to emanate as a pattern where everyone operates from the same position, right? So I've been over and over and over and over this. So it may be getting like, I get it now. Right? So the main thing is to alter the conditions by which we relate, right? The set of assumptions by which we all operate in relationship to others. So this is, right, the root, right, of the behavior, right, of the most general behavior, right? There's no differences, really. There's some minor, but it's mostly, on average, this is, right, what everyone believes, right? And what I'm saying is, what everyone believes is they make these certain assumptions about others, right? And then based on that assumption, also operate in the same fashion, right? So what I'm saying is this: the root cause is this conception, right? And it gets clouded because it ends up sounding like it's you're making this age-old argument, right? That it's selfishness, this self-protection, right? This defense of self that, right, is, right, this is what, you know, like this word, right? You can almost not say it. I'm hesitant to say it, but I want to point out, right, that the correctness of the statement that selfishness is the problem, right? Just because it's a cliche at this point doesn't diminish its correctness. And that's how truth is fucking washed over, right? Is that these statements are made and everyone acknowledges, but still the pattern remains, right? Still, there's nothing changes. And so, and that's, the other part of this commonly held belief that creates the initial assumptions that populates the assumptions by which people relate to each other. Is shit. Stay with me, y'all. All right. So process, right, that there is a commonly held assumption or belief, right? Oh yeah, that's it, right? Which is that it's our nature, right? That it's our human nature, right? And so there's no avoiding it to operate in this manner, right? And yeah, that's not it. It's not our nature, it's our condition, right? We are conditioned to operate in this fashion, right? And we require constant updating and reinforcement of that conditioning. So like, first of all, you get indoctrinated as a child, right? And so you never question, right? You never question the validity of, the indoctrinate, the content of the indoctrination, of the assumptions that are being installed, right? That are no one ever questions, right? They just think that that's it, right? That's truth. And so it's like we can and we will operate in this manner in which we are all in competition with each other, right? Like society is another ecosystem in which everyone, is their own animal, like we all fit into these different niches of the ecosystem of society because we're specialists, and that somehow there's this competition for, the right to be an influencer, right? Right. And that word, you think it just means like on a social media platform. No. Right. So influencing the design of our culture, so what takes place on social media is, part of that, right? But it's not the meat, right? It's not the foundation, which is all of our stuff, technology. You can't get away from it. You can't say that's not true. So, yeah, recognizing certain things about ourselves, right? And that are, that you have to take a look at some of these assumptions that are so common, right? That run the gamut across the board for the most part of everyone. And so, yeah, the lesson of all of these ancient religions is to let go of the self, right? To let go of your protection of your sense or of your psychological sense of self, right? To let go of that, because all of that does is
right, it's a runaway train of division, right, and conflict. Because once you divide one thing, right, everything is divided. So this idea that the environment human beings live in is somehow a operates if operated like how we're doing it now, which is like, quote, the most fit, right, rise to the top, right, which, and so it's like this competitive aspect is what permits the best to be selected, right, for these general positions, right, meaning the positions that are at the top of the pyramid, which are, right, much smaller percentage, right, and so everyone's competing for the right to be at the top of the pyramid, and so somehow that delivers, the most, the ones with the most merit, to make decisions and to influence the course of our civilization. And I mean, look at the track record. If you want to talk about credibility, that method fucking sucks, right? Just look at history, right? And again, it doesn't matter if history has been edited, right? They can't edit out the fucking rise and fall and the rise and fall and the rise and fall, so it's like, it's not a good method, right? The ones that actually arrive at a position to make decisions and to influence the design, right? Because really it is a design, it's artificial. It is an artificial substrate in which we all survive. That's being human, right? We exchange with each other, and the exchange is the substrate that I speak of, right? So the sum total of all of the interactions of everyone together creates the pattern, right, that we live under, right? And so the exchange is there, right? Our humanity persists, right? Because there's no living without us living, without us pursuing value, that's what this is made up to do. It is to not only look for it, right, to be able to recognize it, to discern, quality, right, but also to be that, right, to be quality, right? To be, because what's the point of doing that, right? It's living, right? That's what we do. We be of value to others, right? I mean, I don't know how many times I have to say this, you guys, before you start getting on board. This is the prime motivator, right? It's not survival, right? It's living. That's what motivates us, right? And so we would be able to maximize that ability, right? If we designed our civilization to function for everyone, and not just rehabilitate this parasitic class, right? we don't want to arrive there, right? We don't want to be that. We don't want to be those wealthy people that just perpetuate the system, you know. We don't want to be feeding a portion, right, of our income to charities, right, that don't do anything to amend the path of our civilization, right? Just perpetuate it, because it actually allows the super wealthy to feel okay. You know, they're like, I'm giving back, right? This is how you give back. But that is another controlled opposition. None of these, not fucking one, right, doesn't fucking feed into the perpetuation of the system. Name fucking one, right? And if it's got followers, right, if it's got people giving to it, then it has already been compromised. It's not about giving to a cause, right? You give to the effect. You be the effect, right? Cause and effect. You be the effect. You live the effect, right? Cause is not the thing, right? This is how you create something new, right? So what is it that I'm saying? Be the effect, right? There's a problem with the way we do it, right? We have the exchange, which is what makes us human. And our prime motivation is to provide value, right? For others, right? Because that's how human beings live. We exchange with each other. Inside this exchange substrate, like this alternative ecosystem. But it's, instead of it being an environment where we're all fucking in competition with each other, right? It's, think of it more as a body, right? As society, humanity as a body, right? Because that's what we are. All of us together. We all make up the complete, all the components that are required, right? Which are all the same fucking necessities of a real body, you know? And so it's fucking beyond retarded. It's beyond fucking stupid, right? Are you with me? That we've turned our body into a fucking ecosystem in which all of us compete with each other, like, right? And so that's what I'm getting at. That if you look at it this way, right, then it is a waste of half of our energy, right, to have all of these losers. You know, think about a body that, you know, has autoimmune disease. It is eating itself, right? It's attacking itself, right? It's no way to be, right? So the competitive aspect of our society is the problem, right? That is the fucking problem, because we design our society so that, right, we recognize, right, that there's no need for that. And in fact, it actually fucking is, it actually is a throttle, right? Right? A sphincter, a valve, right? That diminishes our capability from its full potential, right? Because actually, every single one of us, right? We shouldn't have to compete to make a contribution, right? Because the potential for novelty is fucking exponentially greater, right? When everyone gets to participate. And so we now have the capability to do that. We now have the capability to permit that, right? We can manage it. They make it seem like AI is the bad guy. But, you know, like taking our jobs and taking our artwork, all of this stuff, but really like the power of it, like the capability of our technical knowledge to permit organization without leadership. Right? So this is one of the big things that everyone talks about is like, can society exist without this leadership structure, right? And that's part of, to me, right, is that yes, right, ideally that's how we do it. Right? Because there's no need for a terrestrial authority. Right? We all are our own authority, because we all operate from a new set of assumptions, right? Not new, but our natural set, right? Our natural set of assumptions, which is that we are all part of a system that requires all of us, and to hurt another one of us would be to hurt all of us, you know, because each of our minds have the capability of delivering the new, right? And the ways in which that we can do that, right? This is like the universe is that's what it does. It like unfolds. And the idea that down on a small scale, like we are, we can have the ability to add new, right? Add something new that is also like not an abomination, right? Right. So it's not us. We're not the fucking problem, right? So how we add new is to permit, you know, a pattern that can expand, right, from present into the future. And we have the technological capability to do that. All of these fucking lifetime actors are trying really hard, you know, and they're just following instructions. But the narrative is, you know, very cleverly devised in order to get you to choose sides against things, right? And then you get into camps, right? And then it's belief system. I mean, it fucking, you have to fucking recognize, you have to be able to see. And the only way to see is to remove any kind of worldview goggles that you have. And then you're able to perceive, right? And that's what meditation is designed to do, right? What it's supposed to do is to remove any attachment to what has already occurred, right? This is allowing space, right? Attaching to that, to the to the womb of creation, right? It is the space, right, to allow the new to enter. This is our purpose, right? So we can't be misled. Right? We can, all of these things that we have are our tools, right? Just like stone tools were originally. And they are ours, right? They're humanity's. They're not, no one owns them. Because just look at it like this. Without 1,000 generations of people living, it wouldn't exist, right? It's all of ours, right? So we should all like subscribe, right? We subscribe to hardware, to the things that we make. This is what I propose, right? We have the technology. The danger is not the power, right? The danger is fucking being misled into what it actually is. Right? So, yeah, in order for us to complete our purpose, right, which is living, right? Humanity lives in a certain way. Our motivation is not to win, right? Our motivation is to provide, right? This is the prime way that innovation happens, right? Is that all of us have this individual laboratory, right? And we don't want to cut off, cut off all of these laboratories. Like, we want them all to be fully operational, right? And connected, right? And when the creator is ready, then they submit their fucking shit, right? This is how we fucking live, in all of the facets, right? All of the ways that we are created. We all have these gifts, right? So let's maximize our ability to share, right? That's what I'm saying, basically, is to make sure that everyone can share, right? And before, we had to have this filter, this funnel, because we can't accommodate that kind of volume, But now we have the capability. We have the capability to live how we're supposed to live, which is, if you think about pre-industrialization, we were all fucking tinkering, man. We were all making shit, And there was this slow tree aspect. Our specializations, right, go hand in hand, directly proportional to the number of things that we make, the number of products, the amount, the families of technology, the family tree of technology, right, is linked to the ways that we provide value to others. So that's the thing. Like, if we want to make a change to our society, instead of just lip servicing it, I could name a lot of people who's just fucking lip service, man. It's what we're doing is not the only option, right? What we're doing isn't like, it's like, oh, we just need to make adjustments inside of this. No, the whole thing is fucked because it's based on false assumptions, right? This is what these assumptions that determine the way we relate to others, right? We can make this fundamental fucking change in each of ourselves, right? And so this is the idea, right? That it's actually a better strategy, right? To make sure, right? Not that everyone's okay, but to make sure that everyone can have the means at their disposal to be able to share with others, Anyways, So if anyone influential is listening, right, if you're looking around out there for right, I think this is, it's been hard for me to figure out exactly what I want. Like, I want to design, right, I want to design the body of civilization so that it functions, right, so that it works great. That's what I want to do. And I don't see anyone out there really working on that, because everyone is trying to apply their intellect to what we have. And all we need to do is make something that isn't what we have, which is based on an entirely new set of assumptions, right, about how we relate, which is that that no one is a threat, and that everyone actually has the potential to add, right? Everyone has the potential to add to the quality, right, of our lives, right? And it's not a selfish decision, right? It's the idea that we live as a collective, right? We can't live without relationship. And so why does it have to be fucking, like, why not fucking make sure that aspect is fucking present, right? So this is the new initial conditions, right, of the pattern, right? Because the pattern is created by our average fucking behavior, the statistical behavior of everyone, right? And everyone holds the same assumption about fucking what it is that is human nature, which is incorrect. It's like the exact inverse of what everyone is thinking, right? And so that's the new set. That's the new initial conditions, is that everyone has the potential to make things more awesome, right? Instead of everyone being a potential threat. So, right. So if you know someone, right, that's influential, like, I think what I was just saying is that's what I want to do. It's like, I want to design, right, our human civilization so that it functions properly. And to do that, you recognize that it's the exchange that is what it means to be human, right? And the exchange should not be a zone of, like an ecosystem, right? In which you fight to survive, right? Because we are all right? And so the body of society should not be fucking killing itself, like an autoimmune disease, right? Fucking weak. Like, the body of society should all be humming, right, together. So, right, I want to do that, right? Who else wants to do that with me? I know what must be done, but we don't know how. We can't say how yet. But what, right? What is to recognize that the exchange is what it means to be human, and that our motivation to participate in it is not to survive, but to live, to do the thing that we are gifted to be able to do, right? And share that with others. So, like, it's just me here fucking at 8,500 feet in northern New Mexico in an octagon. That's pretty tight. Yeah. And, just living and doing what I can to try to, like, plant this seed, right? And I want to do more, but just, I don't know. I have a lot to fucking offer, right? As far as entertainment goes, right? I could give you tons of hours, right, of just fucking shit that's in here. But I want to be, not effective for my own self, but I want to be effective so that we can all be effective. Like we can actually, there's actually something that can be done. And I know exactly what it is. So who else is on board? I know what it is. What it is, what it is. I just want to celebrate another day of living. Love. Stay tuned.